3, 2, 1.
Boom! And welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Boss Shot Shells. This is the Today episode. Check out Boss Shot Shells at bossshotshells.com. I am with the world famous Andy Shaver.
All the way to May 12th. It's just ripping on by. Today
Is May 13th.
Today's May 12th, and then May 12th.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Got my days confused.
Do you know of a man called Charles Lindbergh?
Yes, I can tell you a lot of things about
Tell
Charles
me what he is.
He's dead.
He is dead.
Charles Lindbergh was the first man to fly across the Atlantic.
Okay.
Charles Lindbergh's daughter was kidnapped,
They found.
and he flew the Spirit of St. Louis.
I don't know if is it his daughter?
Yeah, it was his daughter was kidnapped.
They found his baby girl. I did not know it was his daughter. Today the body of Charles Lindbergh baby is found. May 12th, 1932. More than 2 months after he was kidnapped from his family home in Hopewell, New Jersey. Charles Lindbergh, how much money do you think he was worth?
When he died?
Yeah.
Or today's dollars or then? Back when she was kidnapped or he was kidnapped?
Yeah.
$200,000 maybe.
$200,000 to $500,000, which would
was
be
a
equivalent
lot of money back
to
then.
millions, because it says they
Probably accumulate to $10 million.
they had to build a special ladder to reach the room. So Lindbergh, who became famous for 5 years earlier when he flew the Spirit of St. Louis across the Atlantic, and his wife Anne Morrow Lindbergh discovered a ransom note in their 20-month-old child's empty room on March 1st. The kidnapper had used a ladder to climb up to open the second floor window and had left muddy footprints in the room. In barely legible English, a ransom note demanded $50,000. The crime captured the attention of the entire nation. The Lindbergh family was inundated by offers of assistance and false clues. Even Mr. Al Capone offered his help. He said, "I know the way me and Mrs. Capone would feel if our son was missing, so I am offering you $10,000. The Lindberghs declined. He was about to go to prison.
Charles Lindbergh was?
No. Al Capone.
Okay.
So
He thought it was good public.
maybe
Good PR.
Get me out. For 3 days, investigators had found nothing, and there were no further word from the kidnappers. Then a new letter showed up, this time demanding $70,000. It wasn't until April 2nd that the kidnappers gave instructions for dropping off the money. When the money was finally delivered, the kidnappers indicated that baby Charles was on a boat called Nellie off the coast of Massachusetts. However, after an exhaustive search of every port, there was no sign of either the boat or the child. On May 12th, a renewed search of the area near the Lindbergh mansion turned up the baby's body. The baby had been killed the night of the kidnapping and was found less than a mile from the home. The heartbroken Lindberghs ended up donating the home to charity and moved away. They think when the kidnapper was climbing down, probably dropped the baby. The baby had a fractured skull.
So he probably didn't intend to kill the baby.
Right. So they think when he was climbing down the ladder, dropped the baby, and that's what killed it. The kidnapping looked like it would go unsolved until September of 1934 when a marked bill from the ransom turned up. So hold on, let me skip ahead. Let me see, where was that at? Oh, right here. Okay. Shortly before 10 a.m. on September 15th, 1934, a blue Dodge sedan pulled up to a gasoline pumps in Warner Quinlan service station on Lexington Avenue in Upper Manhattan. Manager Walter Lyle walked over to the car and filled it with 5 gallons of ethyl as the man behind the wheel requested. That's 98 cents, the attendant told the driver, who reached inside his coat pocket and pulled out a $10 bill from a white envelope. Lyle grasped the bill with greasy hands, and his eyes noticed something unusual. "You don't see many of these anymore," he told the driver. The motorist had given Lyle a gold certificate, which had been removed from circulation more than a year before, when President FDR took the country off the gold standard in response to the hoarding of precious metals during the Great Depression. "No, I only have about 100 left," the driver told Lyle. The suspicious attendant recalled his company's warning that counterfeits might attempt to reproduce gold certificate. So as the 1930 Dodge pulled away from the station, Lyle scribbled the vehicle's New York license plate, 4U1341, on the bill's margin. 3 days later, after the service station made its deposit, the unusual bill caught the eye of an attendant teller at the Harlem branch of the Corn Exchange Bank, who checked the serial numbers and made a startling discovery. The bill was connected to the crime of the century, part of the $70,000 paid to the kidnappers of Charles Lindbergh Jr., the 20-month-old son of Charles Lindbergh. The bank immediately notified the federal investigators, who traced the license plate number written on the bill to a German immigrant carpenter named Bruno Richard Hauptmann, who lived in a quiet, leafy residential neighborhood in the Bronx. The next morning, police and federal detectives peered through the binoculars of as Hauptmann left his apartment in a 2-story house and backed his Dodge sedan out of the garage. Seeing the license plate match, the police pulled him over and found a $20 gold certificate from the ransom money inside his billfold. Finally, after tens of thousands of man-hours and countless false leads, the arrest was made for the Lindbergh baby. The next day, authorities searched the Hauptmann's garage and found $13,000 of the ransom money hidden in a dirty oil can, stuffed in a package inside a wall, and buried beneath the garage floor. Hauptmann says that he was just holding the money. I don't know.
For who?
For the people that actually did it. 6 weeks after that, no. So anyway, that doesn't have anything to do with it. The body was discovered by a truck driver, and autopsy revealed a fractured skull.
So did they charge?
They arrested Hauptmann, and then he died by electric chair.
Well, good for him. It's a good place for his ass.
So bad day for the Lindbergh.
You know what the lesson here is to be?
No.
Vigilant. That gas station guy was vigilant, and it got done. Otherwise, they might not ever caught the guy.
Well, and it was just like they said, it was just not anything that I've never even seen a picture of those gold certificates like they're talking about there.
They're just regular bills. It's got gold on, got a gold emblem on them. I think.
I don't know.
I think that's it.
I don't know. The main evidence, apart from the money, was testimony from handwriting experts that the ransom note had been written by Hauptmann and his connections with the type of wood that was used to make the ladder. So he was executed in April 1936 by the electric chair. After this, kidnapping was made a federal crime. So I guess it was just a misdemeanor? No,
it was a state deal.
State deal.
That's what it looks like right there.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yep. That $10 bill is worth $259 right now.
Inflation, baby. Okay, my guy that was born today, most famous skateboarder ever.
Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk. So he was, they pitch him the idea of a video game. And they say,
Smart move.
We will pay you a flat fee, $500,000.
Oh, tell me he didn't take that.
He did not take it.
Good for him.
He said, I will do this, but I want royalties.
Good for him.
So after the 3 video games come out, massive hit. I played it when I was a kid.
This is my last video game y'all ever had that I like to play.
Three video games come out. He gets called in to Activision's headquarters or whatever, and they set him down and they said, listen, this has blown up beyond what any of us could imagine, blah, 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 pat him on the back, and they pass him a check for $4.1 million for his involvement in the 3 video games, and then this was right before the 4th one was set to release. He is a pioneer in vertical skateboarding. Hawk completed the first ever documented 900. I'm guessing you spin 900 degrees around. I don't know. He did that in 1999. He retired from competing professionally in 2003 and is widely regarded as one of the greatest and most influential skateboarders of all times. And I would have to agree because I couldn't name you one other skateboarder.
No. I couldn't either.
Different parts of his career, he was living out of his car, so he said that the video game was really kind of what did it for him.
I can see why.
All right, my fella. Whoops. Hang on a second. My guy that died today was... Let me get this back up. I accidentally closed it out. Leader of the Rat Pack. Who would you say?
Frank Sinatra or Dean Martin?
It is Frank Sinatra. No. What have I got here? Hold on a second. Hold on. No. That's May 14th. I'm moving too far ahead. May 14th or May 12th was kind of a tough day for people that died. Couldn't really find anybody, but I did find Robert McFarlane. You know who that is?
Miss McFarlane's son. I have no idea.
He was an American government official known for his role as National Security Advisor under President Ronald Reagan and his involvement in the Iran-Contra affair.
Oh, him and Ollie North.
McFarlane's career spanned various administrations, and his military service in the Marine Corps, including time in Vietnam, set as a foundation for his later political roles. McFarlane graduated from the United States Naval Academy in 1959 and served in the Marine Corps. He saw combat in the Vietnam War and held positions that placed him in proximity to policymaking, including a stint as a military assistant. Transitioning to government work, McFarlane served as military aide to Henry Kissinger and later held positions in the Nixon, Ford, and Reagan administrations. From 1983 to 1985, McFarlane was a national security advisor, dealing with Cold War tensions and shaping foreign policy. His involvement in the Iran-Contra affair led to his resignation and legal entanglements. In 1988, he pled guilty to the charges related to the affair, but he was pardoned by
Ronald Reagan.
George Bush, H.W. Bush, in 1992. After leaving government service, McFarlane engaged in the private sector, which he probably made a buku amount of money, and he continued to comment on foreign affairs. So do you know what the Iran-Contra is?
They were probably covering money up on weapons, if I'm guessing.
So...
Is that right?
Kinda. So we were selling arms to Iran, which we had an embargo with. We had an arms embargo with them, so that made that act illegal. They argue, and they investigated Reagan. They determined he had no knowledge of what was going on. They said that they were trying to do this in order to get 7 U.S. hostages back that were being held by Hezbollah. They would take that money and then they would fund the Contras, an anti-Sandinista rebel group in Nicaragua. Sandinista. I don't know.
Basically, the CIA was involved in 2 different things, making money on the side like they always are.
Right.
So, yeah.
They sold to Iran, used that money to basically fund a terrorist group. I don't know. I don't know anything about the Nicaragua
thing. The Nicaragua deal's about like the cartels are to lower level, but it's the same shit. Right. We propped up someone to be run the country, basically.
So,
and if you look at it, it's probably because a lot of the cocaine and stuff was coming through Nicaragua. And that's what I'm guessing.
Probably. What'd they do with Ollie North? Was he?
I think he finally got exonerated of everything. I think,
or pardoned by.
I think
so. Got pardoned.
I don't know if he ever got arrested even.
So,
I can't remember. I didn't. That was that time in my life. I always talk about these young people don't care. Guess what?
You were that young guy.
I was that young guy too that didn't give a shit either.
Yeah.
At one time.
Crooked government goes back a long way.
Yes, it does.
So anyway, that's all I got. Lindenberg baby was found. Robert McFarlane passes away, and the greatest skateboarder ever, or most popular. Greatest is subjective, but probably definitely the most popular.
Yeah, I would agree.
Skateboarder is born.
Yeah, Ollie North never was. I don't think he was ever arrested. That I'm worried. I'm just kind of looking it up for him.
It's not who you know, it's who you blow.
Yep, that's right. So I don't think he ever. Probably died a really wealthy man, if I'm guessing.
I think he's still alive.
Okay, then he's lived a very good life, I think.
He's on Fox News all the time.
Okay, well, there you go. So, anyways, thank y'all for listening to us. God bless y'all. Hope today is great and hope tomorrow's even better for you.
There you go. May 12th. Have a great week. Love you. Bye. Watch for deer.